Recently, in your Twitter handle, that is X handle, formerly known as Twitter, there's been these attacks on you because of the comments you made on the comments made by Professor Wole Soyinka, where he called Nigerians, or angry Nigerians, where he called them barbarians. And some of you took offense to that comment, and that has generated a lot of hate on the X space. Now, now we are speaking about it, what do you have to say about that comment? Do you think he was wrong in calling Nigerians who are genuinely angry and wanting a better Nigerian, calling them barbarians? I mean, many will say that that has become unbecoming of a professor because a couple of times he have done so. And I do understand that also Wole Soyinka is also a man you have immense respect for.
Let me say very importantly that I still respect the Nobel laureate. But it comes to a point in the history of a nation and a people where that cliche, respect begets respect, comes to play. And I say this without equivocation, that over the past 24 months, the Nobel laureate, who has a right to keep the relationship he wants to keep, should also know that there's a place for politics. There's a place for progressive politics. And there is a place for personal relationship. We agree that he has a personal relationship with our president. That's good. That's his right. But when you allow personal relationship obviate your sense of patriotism, truth, and reason, it gives so many of us who are fans or who grew up loving and reading the works of Professor Wole Soyinka a real cause for worry. And so what I did on my X handle was to ask him and advise him that there's a time to keep quiet. And I'm saying that with the greatest sense of humility. There's a time, truly, Professor Wole Soyinka, to keep quiet. And this is the time to keep quiet, understanding that a generation of Nigerians are genuinely angry. Angry that a nation blessed by God with amazing resources and riches ineffable has not met their demands. Angry that a nation blessed by God with great wealth has not lived up to expectation. Angry that their generation was cared for and fettered by the Nigerian estate, whereas the generation of these young people have been left abandoned, unattended, and uncared for. So this generation is genuinely angry, and they want a new deal, a new day, a new dispensation, and a new tendency in leadership. That was what we saw in the last election. But unfortunately, albeit consistently, Professor Wole Soyinka has tended to disparage and disrespect this generation of genuinely angry Nigerians. At some point, he called the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party a fascist. At another point, he has said that a movement that is absolutely, it was glaringly national, was a regional movement. And the young boys from Karu Namuda, the young boys from Kafanchan, the young boys from Sokoto, and the young boys across this country, young girls who rose up to support the obedient movement and the candidacies of Peter Obi, took on him. It was a major battle both on the social media and on the terrestrial news. I thought that Professor Wole Soyinka would have learned a few lessons. You don't stay in the way of a raging storm. The storm that we have today is not necessarily about Peter Obi, but about a movement that wants a new day and a new deal and a new tendency in leadership. They did not stop there. They continued, albeit peacefully, to ask for that which is proper, right, and right. And rather than applaud them, Wole Soyinka wakes up from nowhere again to say that barbarians have taken over the social media. And I think that there's some kind of neurosis in this space. That neurosis, I do not know whether it's a function of age, but he has forgotten that when he was a lot younger, he himself went into a radio station armed with a shotgun to protest an election that was fraudulent. Today, he doesn't want young people to exercise and express their rights to disagree. And I think that's absolutely hypocritical. I think that that's absolutely pharisaical. And I think that anybody who truly loves the noble laureate should tell him that rather than insult and disparage these young people, he should applaud them, because this country needs a new deal. And so what I did was an advice. But unfortunately, some people who are wont to seeing sound reason and sound logic from ethnic prisms, those who have immured their sense of truth and reason by ethnicity, those who think that once you speak against someone you love, you're speaking from ethnic cocoonery or tribal cocoons, came up, and interestingly, and I must say, their voice was far less than 10% on that tweet. I will continue to say to Professor Wole Soyinka, some of us respect you, we believe that you're one of the greatest writers to have come out of Africa, and we insist that if age is beginning to have its toll on you, you do us a great honor by speaking less and remaining the great monument that you are, the great example of protestation that you've been. And let the obedience be. Let Peter Gregory be. Let those who are insisting on a new day, a new republic, a new deal, and a new country be. Because ultimately, the right to disagree, the right to protest, is an inalienable right congruent with democratic process, congruent with civil society, and congruent with the expectations of a highly progressive world. I'm Professor Chris Mustafa Nwaokobia Jr. Keep watching Ginger Media.